I know this can be hard to hear and hard to do, but I promise if you do not let go of those resentments, the grudges, the bitterness, the anger, the hatred, it becomes a poison inside of you. Or it becomes like this wound that never heals, and no matter what you do, no matter where you go, that wound just continues to bleed. You can get into a new relationship, you can move to a new place, a new job, a new lifestyle, all kinds of different things. But if that wound inside of you never heals, it will just continue to bleed. I remember hearing a quote one time that changed the course of my life, and I'll tell you my story here in a second. Then I'm going to give you the specific tools and strategies to let go of the resentment so you can have the peace that you want. And hear me on this, it's not about them and it's not about what they did. This is for you to take care of you, to let things settle here and here so that you can have peace, so that you can move on. Here's this quote, amazing. Bitterness is a poison that you swallow hoping your enemy will die. Ooh. Let me say it one more time. Bitterness is a poison that you swallow hoping your enemy will die. The real effect at the end of the day is on us. And I want to help you get to this place where you're settled and you have inner peace and you can move on with your life and enjoy your life without being tormented or troubled from things in your past. My name's Greg Denning. I went through some tough times, right? My parents split up when I was really young, and then stepdads came and went. I chose to leave home at 16, and I was in some tough spots. I went through some hard things, and people did things to our family, and they did things to me, and man, I was filled with anger and bitterness, and my life during those years was so hard, and I blamed it on all those people and those decisions they had made. And I carried a lot of pain and a lot of hurt and a lot of bitterness and a lot of resentment and just anger. I had this raging temper, you guys, as a teenager. And it was all just in there, and I just was blaming everybody. I was wound so tight, it just would snap. And sometimes it was snapping in tears, sometimes it was snapping in violence or just whatever. I was just constantly tormented by all of that. And then at one point, I just realized I gotta let all of it go. It's not serving me. It's not helping me. It's not adding value to my life. And the battle in was this. It was like, yeah, but they deserve it. I can't let go because they deserve for me to have this grudge, right? They're in the wrong. And we'll get into all of that in a minute. But the battle was, and the resistance was, well, if I let go, then it somehow makes that right. And that's just not true. Letting go was for me. Ooh. And I want to share my journey in hopes that maybe something I share will help you let go of something from your past. Maybe your childhood, maybe your parents, something your parents did or didn't do, or maybe some bad experiences you've had. But as long as we hold on to that, it hurts us here and here. Okay, here we go. Number one. First thing I want you to do is write it down. And don't we have a tendency to go on and on and on, right? Oh, it was so unfair and he did this and did that, and go, oh man, we just, like it's just this volcano of emotion that comes up. And as you're writing it down, I want you to be as succinct as possible. Can you write it down clearly? Can you articulate it? What exactly was it that you feel upset about? And it's interesting, you have all this emotion and all this stuff going on, all this noise, all this chaos all around the issue. But if you can get to the exact issue and write it down in really succinct, clear language, then you know what you're dealing with. And like I love to tell my coaching clients or people when I go out and speak, like take it out on paper, not on people, right? Get this stuff out and get it on paper, write it down. Do you clearly understand it? And at that spot, like it gives you so much power if you know, like, yes, this is the issue and this is why I feel angry. Maybe you're upset that your mom didn't give you enough attention when you were younger. Maybe you felt really angry and still do that your dad abandoned your family. Whatever it is, get clear about why you're upset and understand it. That's the first big thing. Then the next step is like, okay, what do you want to happen? Right? And you're like, I want justice. I want what was wrong to be made right. Well, what is that? Like, write that down. Get clear about that. Sometimes we get thinking in these circles and the chaos and all the emotion of it and want all this stuff to happen and this, that, and the other. And really, it might not even change things. And so get clear about it. Do you want that person to be punished? Do you want them to apologize? Do you want them just to understand what they did? Do you want them to maybe feel what you felt, right? Some kind of retribution, some kind of justice. But go through it all and go through it in your mind. Let the emotions kind of clear out. Let them up and out and let go of them and stop and say, what do I really want? And here's maybe the third piece. What difference would it actually make? If they were punished, would you let it go? If they did apologize, would you stop letting it torment you? If you were just able to tell them how you really felt, would that be enough? And you have to decide, because I've worked with people across the globe that sometimes say, yeah, if they just would apologize, then everything good, and they apologize, and you still hold on to it. And it still becomes an inner problem. You with me? And I know, like, for me, same. As long as I held on to that, they apologized, they changed. They could totally change. They can be a totally different person. They made a big mistake, and they became a totally different person, but I still hold on to the bitterness and the resentment. Well, who am I hurting now? Right? Just myself. So, get really clear, what was it? What are you upset about? Number 2, what do you want to happen? Right? Number 3, will that make a difference? And sometimes you're like, yeah, it would make a difference. And I want you to walk through mentally, like, maybe they will do it. Maybe you do need to address it. Maybe they need to apologize. Maybe something needs to happen, right? This is such a broad topic. There's all kinds of things. And maybe something does need to happen. But ultimately, at the end of the day, for the quality of your life, for your own self-care, for your own well-being, for the kind of person you want to be and the kind of life you want to live, I want to invite you, as challenging as it might seem right now, and in fact, you might be in a spot where it seems impossible, I want to invite you just to consider letting it go. Not that you justify, not that you rationalize, not that you excuse away what happened, but that you let it go for you. Whew. And you get to the spot where you say, you know what? I'm done. I'm done carrying this baggage around. I'm done having these issues in my mind and in my heart that are disturbing my peace and robbing me of my inner joy. And I remember, you guys, if we could somehow go back in time together, we could do a little time traveling and go back in time. And we can see I was around 19 or 20. I just let go of everything. It was almost like I had all this luggage. I was carrying armfuls of stuff and on my shoulder and my back, and I was dragging this cart full of injustices and people that had wronged me and all the things that had gone wrong in my life. My life was so hard and I was so angry. And it was like I just dropped it all there in a pile. And if we could go back and just look back and be like, there it is. There's my pile. And I left it all back there. No joke. I'm no joke here. Like, I left it all back there. Because somehow I knew at that young age, I did not want to take any of that into my marriage because I knew it would affect my marriage. I didn't want to bring any of that into my parenting because I didn't want to pass it on to my kids. There are so many issues that are passed along from generation to generation to generation. Wow. And I didn't want to do that, and so I cut it off and left it back there. And if I can do it, so can you. You can do it too. And you can do it for you. Not for them. Do it for you. But there's another little element here that I think is worth considering, right? Well, two things. Number one, start dealing with the things that need the attention that are still going on. Like, what's still happening? Is there an issue that's still occurring? Maybe it's with a boss or a coworker, maybe with a parent or sibling, a relative, something that's still going on. There's still a toxic relationship or a dynamic that needs to be addressed. Address those things first. If it's still happening, it's got to stop. And you've got to put up some really healthy boundaries. I'm working with some of my clients right now to just lay out those boundaries, get clear. And here's the next thing you can spend time writing about, like, where are the boundaries? How would you like them to behave? What do you want? And get clear about what you do not want. Like, what will you no longer tolerate? Because in life, we get what we tolerate. And if you just decide, I will not tolerate that anymore, I'm done, right? Then because you guys, in a very real way, people treat us the way we train them to treat us. And you're like, how could you even say that? What are you talking about? It's them. They're just being mean. But when I learned this, when I learned to stand up for myself and respect myself, when my self-respect went up, guess what? Respect from others went up with it, right? And when I set the boundaries, say, hey, I don't allow people to treat me that way, it stopped, right? And so when we set those clear boundaries, it changes things. And so get clear about the boundaries you need to set. Address the things that are still happening that need to stop. And some relationships need to end. And some relationships just need a lot more distance, right? And some relationships just need more rules and boundaries. So address that. Here's one more thing I want you to chew on that was hard for me to wrap my mind around, because we're so close, we're so close up to our own life and our own experiences, our own family members, and we're so right up in there that sometimes we miss the big picture. And as I've had the privilege of working with thousands of people across 5 continents and deeply studying for decades now into human psychology and human performance and emotionality and why people do the things they do, man, it really changed my perspective. And I backed up and I started saying, you know what? Maybe those people were doing the best they knew how. Maybe they were dealing with things that I didn't understand. In fact, because I was a child, I couldn't understand. There's something important there. We come to conclusions sometimes as children, but remember, we're looking through the lens and cognitive ability of a child. And so we come to a hard conclusion of this is what's happened, that's what they did, but we're looking through the lens of a child. And then when we get to our own cognitive development, which is after the age of 25, and our understanding, we've got to go back and rewrite the programming. We've got to revisit the old story that we came up with as kids, because we understand more, or we should understand more. And as I have worked with people and heard their stories and began to understand why they did what they did, I've worked with hardened criminals who did terrible things to good people who made honest mistakes, right? And you begin to understand that and think, man, maybe your dad was dealing with some demons from his past that he didn't know what to do with, and he never told you about them, right? He had no idea. Nobody ever helped him process this. Maybe your mom was born with some cognitive deficiency. She may have been born, or he or whoever, like as you start studying brain science and they can actually take a picture of your brain now, and they can see what's happening, and they can see if things are off. And when we went through this brain science treatment and training and studying all this, I realized that there's a very large percentage of people are born every year, every day, with some kind of physiological challenge or struggle, or something's not quite right. And if that were the case, man, I think if we could see everyone's story and understand it, and if we could see everyone's brain and physiology and understand it, I think we'd have a lot more empathy and understanding, a lot more compassion, a lot more forgiveness to say, wow, maybe they were doing the best they could with what they had. And maybe they didn't have much. Right? And if we can begin to look at things that way, then it's honestly it's really probable that we just misconstrued it, that we misunderstood it, and that there's some room there's some space, some allowance for more understanding and more forgiveness. And I know this is sensitive, guys, and I'm not trying to be insensitive about it, and I'm not saying, oh, this is something easy, just let go of it. I get it. I've been there. I struggled with it, right? And I work with people who have. But I promise, if we can learn to let go of resentment and let go of the bitterness that's poisoning us, if we can change our thinking and change our feelings and get to a place where we have the inner peace and joy, wow! I mean, think about that. And think about what happens if you don't let go of it. Allow your mind to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now, still holding on to the same thing. I see that right now. There's people in my family who never let go of it. And 30, 40 years down the road, still holding on to it, still bitter, still self-destructing. They're living in perpetual self-sabotage because they will not let go of the bitterness and the resentment from the past. Feel that, see that. Now see the opposite. Let go of it completely. Drop it off, cut it off, done, heal the wound. See yourself 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now. No resentment, nothing. No bitterness, no pain. And sometimes you can cut it off and you can forgive and forget without having the relationship anymore. Like you can just end the relationship, be done, and forgive so you can move on. It's for you. And so you go on and do that, right? And see yourself living joyfully, peacefully. That there's no more tormenting here or here. There's no more anguish. There's no more bleeding from that wound. It's healed. It's done. It's over. What? It's amazing. I've experienced it myself and I help my clients do it. So get into it. Try to understand it. Try to do the walk through these things and get to a spot. Like leave the possibility open. Maybe it'll take some time for you. Maybe for some of you, you can decide right now. You can be done. You have that power. You can decide right now to never be bothered by that thing again. Done. You remove it from your life and your thoughts and your feelings immediately. It's over. For some of you, it might take more time, but be open to the possibility. Don't hold on to it like I used to. Like, no, never. I'll never let go of it. I'll never forgive. Never. And what I do is I close down those possibilities. And what I was doing is I was encapsulating the poison that was hurting me. So leave the possibility there that it can come up and go out and be gone. Ooh, life is so good when we can let go of those things and just live as our very best self. Love you guys. Reach upward.